welcome to the shop. Mr. Blue here. Got some frames I've been working on. I've actually got, this is my first set of 3 I've ever done that match. So it's a pretty cool set that I'm putting out for a guy out in Western Kentucky. So check this out. This, you can tell I've already started on it, and then I decided why not show some tips and techniques here. All right, so this is a Gen 3 OD Green Glock frame. As you can tell, I've already got some borders cut on it, and I'll show you some more of that in just a second. All right, so these are the 2 frames that are complete that have already been completed. Now, that have been completed. Grammatical Wizard. Now, so what we have here, this is a Gen 4 19 frame. This has a 2-tone stippling situation going on here. We have the sprinkles pattern, and then we have the flow pattern, or I'm sorry, the skid pattern, which my wife calls brains. So the front and back straps received skid, each side received sprinkles. So it really matched up well, and this was based off a picture that my customer Eric sent me. And so that's what we got going on. Double undercuts, thumb ledges, also been 2-toned with the sprinkles and the skid pattern. All right, and the same thing on this G43X frame. Double undercuts, still need to do some, I'm not done the finishing touches on the polish there yet. HD border, skid on the front and back, sprinkles on the side. So that's what we're going on. So we're going to have a set of 3 that all match. Now, so let's get to it here. So here's what's happening right now. What I'm going to show you, and I'll have to set the camera up on the tripod and everything. I'm going to show you how I go around the Glock logos. I don't think I've ever done that on camera before that I can remember. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I'll also show you how I cut borders in case you haven't watched my other videos. I'll show you that situation, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Camera set up in the tripod. Now, so what you're going to see me be using here is this is the large size sanding drum, and I think this is an 80 grit. Anytime when I begin sanding a frame, the initial sanding is always done with 80 grit, and that's all the sides will ever get. The areas like the undercuts and the thumb ledges that might get polished, they'll be worked down to some finer grits. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this plugged into my manifold. If you can see this over here, I use a 3-prong manifold because you need these 3 things. These are the 3 things I primarily use. There's one other tool I'll use when working on a frame. Sanding drum. This is a green polishing stone. It's actually like, I don't know what it's made out of, honestly. I wish I could find some more of them. I got this in like a cheap Chinese Dremel kit. And this is just a cotton wheel for polishing later on. But this tool right here is your main source. Now, so you can see I've already began sanding some of this side down. I always cut my borders first and start sanding the sides. And now I'm going to show you how I go around this Glock logo for a little tip of the day. All right, now, it's going to be hard for you to hear me because it's going to be loud, but I'll try my best to speak up and everything. I'm going to try to get this camera adjusted. I think it's going to make for a better angle here. Oh yeah, let's try this. Sorry, guys. Now, I think that's going to be for a lot better angle. Okay. Now, basically, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this sanding drum, and you can see this sanding drum has been already used on 2 frames. You notice how this outside edge looks nice and fresh, and this side over here is a little ragged. You notice that? I really don't need gloves on for this. I always wear gloves while cutting borders, though. So that's because I use the edge of this to actually cut around the Glock logo. So, all right, so here we go. So I'm going to come down through here. I'm going to sand right to, sorry, y'all can't see that. I want to come right down through here with that edge and actually cut down next to the Glock, the existing Glock logo. So once you get started where you want to be at, you're just going to ride that edge and actually cut a groove with your sanding drum. You see how that works? And if you're not close enough, if you're not as close as you like, just do it again. Nice, easy strokes. Get to the corner, just walk that corner around. I don't suggest going as fast as I'm going your first time doing this, because you'll ruin some stuff. Trying to get this on camera. All right, guys, that's basically how it's done. That's how I go around my Glock logos. Now, that's not finished. I don't just leave it like that. But you can see there's a pretty consistent ring around it, and that's just a starting point. And a lot of guys just leave it like that, or similar to that. What I'll do is I'll actually, you see how there's like a ridge there? I'll flatten all that out so you don't really notice. The Glock logo will look raised, but everything else isn't just sunk in around it, like a moat. So you just take and finish that up a little bit more. I'll just delicately sand around it with the drum. Like I said, I'll knock down that ridge all the way around that. Just kind of make this, you just smooth it out so that you can't tell that you dug down around the Glock logo. A lot of people will tape that off and get all crazy with it, which is nice and cool and everything, but they probably charge $350 for stipple frames, and I'm about half that. So next thing we're going to do, I'll just leave this rolling here if I can get you set back up. This is going to get Gen 3 frames. I'm going to do a mag release scallop. Probably not going to get that on camera just because I don't feel like it. About ended that video a little bit prematurely, but here's what's going on since the last time you've seen this frame. I've got all the borders cut. I've got the mag release scallop going on. And I came out a little extra wide, just do a little something different on this frame. Both double undercuts are finished, thumb ledge on both sides. Now, something else I didn't show you is I sand everything down with the large coarse grit sanding drum. I do everything with that. Mag release scallop, double undercuts, thumb ledges, everything. I do it with that. Then I come behind it with the finest grit small sanding drum. That gives it that takes out a lot of the coarse sanding marks left behind by this. So that eliminates that. And then everything that's going to get polished, I'll come behind it with that. And then this. Okay, that's just a cotton wheel. And that gives it that high polish look. So, something I did not show you, something I just started doing on my borders recently, and I'll show you right now, is I'm going to take this carving bit, and I wish I knew the name for it, but I think it's some kind of cheap Chinese, eBay, Amazon knockoff generic diamond cutting bit. It's got a nice conical shape to it, and I'll show you what I do with that. So basically, if you look at my borders, you see in here, like anytime I wiggle the flex cut tool, anytime I give that a little wiggle, it leaves these wavy marks in my borders. So to give the borders a real consistent look and a little bit wider depth, or a little bit wider profile, I come behind it with this. So it's really simple. I'm just going to come down through here and follow all my existing border lines. Something like that. Just kind of go back and forth. And that gives, you can straighten out your lines like this. And it's easier going behind your lines than doing it like this. Basically, that's how I finish my borders. Sorry, I don't have to disconnect the dresser. That gives it a nice matte finish. Actually, just a little bit so that's how it's done. I'll show you what she looks like once it's all finished up. This stippling pattern goes. This is the sprinkles pattern. It's just random, and as you can make it, where there's not space filled, you fill it with space. Like so. Got my fan in the background. Can't be breathing no fumes. See, that little spot looks a little janky. I'll go back and fix that later. Can't really see what I'm doing while I'm holding this camera. But that's the basis of it. Keep it random. This last pattern you're going to see here, stuff situated. See, I've already got started on it here. There we go, that's in focus. This is what I call skid, also known as brains, and this is what you call or what's known as a tip drag pattern. You're going to see why in just a second. I know that's a little far away, but basically you just take, this is a fine point, wood burning. There you go. It's not the finest point, but it's kind of got a blunt tip to it. And you're just going to take it and drag it. That's why it's called tip drag. And I just do this back and forth, something like this. So you got the whole surface covered. It's a little bit slower, but you just kind of randomize it. Go one direction, come back the other. Just right up to your border. And that's pretty much it. So to get this pattern on the front and back strap, then you got sprinkles on either side. And hopefully it'll look something like that. It'll match these other two frames. And I'll show you all these when they're finished. Alright, so we're to one of the final steps. Stippling is complete. One other thing I do, and the borders will be kind of shined up a little bit better there, but alright, final step. Cotton wheel. On the undercuts, the big thing right here, you see they've got a pretty good shine on them. Big thing here is speed control. You're not going to run it wide open because it'll just melt your frame. So you want a good steady, slow speed. Just want to easily go back and forth. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much has this one wrapped up. Got the polish on the undercuts and the mag well. Got the flame bath on it. Borders are cut. The borders still get a little bit of fine tuning there. Not got to that yet, but pretty well got it taken care of. So this is two-tone stippling, sprinkles, skid. Got it going on in a series of 3, each one different. 43X, Glock 19 Gen 4, Glock 19 OD Green Gen 3. So that's pretty much got them. They all got the same treatment. I will hook you up. One other thing, quick rundown, in case you're interested in all the tools I use, if you want, if this is something you're interested in doing yourself. Micro air die grinder, 30 bucks. Basic Dremel toolkit like this one right here. You can find those all day on Amazon, 10, 15 bucks. These are all the sanding drums I use. Even this whole set that came with like a few hundred pieces was pretty cheap. Basic Walmart wood burning kit. Just the tool was like 15 bucks. Go to like Hobby Lobby or somewhere, you can buy all sorts of tips. Like I got 2 or 3 sets of tips. I just kind of form them the way I want them formed. Those are usually $5 or $6 a piece. It's been years since I bought any. Flex cut tool, you're looking at, they're pretty expensive, somewhere in the $20 range. So for somewhere around $60, $75, you can do all these things that I do with a little practice. Watch my videos and you might learn something, you may not. You may screw some stuff up, I know I have. So there you go, trifecta matching. These 19 frames also have the finger grooves removed. So I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So there you have it, guys. Mr. Blue here in the shop, TriStar Customs. If you want me to take care of you, I can surely do it. Let me know, I'll send you my price list. Like I'll give you a rundown on this one real quick. This one has stippling, and that's $100. HD border is $35. Where this one got some extra lines, it'll be a little extra. Mag release scallop, 15 bucks. Double undercuts are 35, I think, 25 maybe. Thumb ledges, $20 a piece. Finger grooves removed, that's $15 or $20. Keeping the Glock logo, 10 bucks. That's pretty much it. The rest of these others are pretty much the same. But so somewhere to the tune of $150 to $200, you can have all the features you see here. But you can get down with like a really basic package with just stippling and just like one border for like 125 bucks. So there you have it. Appreciate y'all watching as always. Hit me in the comments. Look me up on Facebook and Instagram at TriStar Customs. And if you're interested in Cerakote, check us out at Liberty Arms. Use that Google machine. You can find us. My phone number will also be in the description. Thanks for watching. God bless.